we can talk about, oh, hello everyone. This is Scratch and Jack. I'm your host for the Sunday night Amazing Classic Hangout. The Sunday Hangout is a hangout of members. That's right, members of Amazing Classic, followers of Amazing Classic who like to share their tips and tricks with another. It's Sunday on a 3-day weekend for me. Forgive me for being so flaky, more than usual. Of course, we were all looking at Heath while I was talking there. Okay, here I am. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Heath. Such a bad intro. Anyway, how you doing, Heath?
You're not having a very good start,
I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing here because I can click between people, and I was on you all that time. And people are thinking you are me. That's horrible. You don't want to be me. What do you want on your bench today?
I can never beat you, Jack. There's only one Jack. I can never beat you.
What is it you're doing today?
Oh, I don't know. Just losing my mind, I suppose.
Like I am.
Yeah.
So
I do have to repair my Enterprise, my TOS Enterprise. She's broken. She's broken. Look.
Well, what'd you do that for?
It came off.
Well, he thought it was a lazy boy chair, and he thought he'd sit down on it.
Oh dear.
Oh, come on. That's a cop out.
I don't know if you sat on it. If you sat on it, it would have gone through a black hole, never to be seen again.
Oh. Charming. Charming. Excuse me. Next.
How you doing, Jay?
What? Hi. How am I doing? I don't know how I'm doing. I'm doing pretty well, I guess. I've been working on Von Crypt props and such. I finally finished my my Von Crypt goggles.
Cool.
These are set up. Well, they are. I suppose they're similar, but these are a little more steampunk and a little bit more what I call Von Crypt punk, because it's kind of a halfway between steampunk and mad scientist. I've also got Valeria's goggles, which are actually a lot nicer looking and pure and all that good stuff, because, well, she's going to insist that she gets a pair of goggles. So been doing a few other props. I'm working on my own version of a alien tricorder that where is it? Get over here. This is kind of how it fits and how it's going to look, and it's going to have lots and lots of lights, and it's going to have an actual video screen on it that shows up and such. So been doing that, and I've been shooting a lot of video for both on Amazing Plastics and been working on the Evil Duck Workshop website. So
nice.
This week.
Yeah, you've got a lot of things going on, then, don't you, Jim?
Oh yeah.
Well, when do we expect to see something from Dr. Van Crypt?
Definitely before Halloween.
Okay, very good.
We're going to be shooting again, hopefully this coming week. Reshooting, basically, and I want to at least get parts 1 and 2 up before Halloween, because the first episode is going to be cut up into like 5 parts. But hopefully I'd like to get them up before Halloween, so we'll see.
Okay.
It depends on her schedule and mine.
Next up, we have Phil. How you doing, Phil?
I'm good. I'm not doing anything right at the minute.
Yeah, you were working on it in here, and this is what you had revealed today and had posted on the community.
Yes, I finished that this evening while I was chit-chatting to you earlier, and put that up, and just went back and was working a little bit more on the Missouri. But yeah, that's my Halloween offering.
Very cool.
You've got some interesting pictures here. Let's go back. Here is a little cemetery. You paid homage to some of us here at Amazing Plastic. Richard, you have the Calgary Cemetery with Dr. Van Crypt inside there. That would be, Jay here. And also we have an oil can of Tompkin oil. Tompkins is Heath's last name.
That's our man Heath, yes.
I'm going to have to invent that.
And if you move over the front, we have Morris's Movie Guide, which is a little homage to Carlin and his movie review channel. And the Brer Rabbit Molasses is just a throw-in that isn't homage to anybody.
That's what I really like.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that first, and I stuck it there with the skeleton hand on it, and then I had a little thought, and I had all these little miniature books and things. I thought, I went upstairs to the printer, and I decided rather than paint those names with the brush, which I did with the Star Trek by Jack Holzer, I did the others on the printer, so they're a little bit more professional.
And Dirk, these are all the moderators, and of course.
Correct. As part of the game.
You're a moderator too. Yeah, Dirk is a moderator. Styrene detective.
Well, the Dirk Pit. I seem to recall a movie or a book with some detective called Dirk, so it kind of struck me that might work. So yeah, I mean, the whole thing was just a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It is. And what are you working on now?
Right now, I'm going back to the Missouri. I'm back to doing eensy-weensy, tiny little pieces of and stuff on the Missouri. So, yeah, I'm back to the real thing.
Very good. Very good. Oh, lovely. My camera doesn't work.
Oh, I'm seeing black.
We can still hear you, though.
Yeah, yes, good.
Okay.
And come back.
Yeah, your video might come back because we only lost it after you finished your screen share. So just give it a moment. Or screen share something else.
Well, moving on. It would be Wayne. How you doing, Wayne?
I'm fine, thank you. Can you hear me?
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I've been working for the past month or so really hard. So, been doing extra overtime because everybody else has been on holidays, all sick leave and that. So, still had time to do that.
Nice.
Oh, hello. We got a tank.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I've just got this through the post from this came in yesterday. Not yesterday, the Saturday.
Ooh.
Move it down a little bit. Oh, sweet.
Just get back forward. What is it?
It's
You're looking for a T60, aren't you, Jay?
Pardon? No, it's the E75 Standard Panzer. The E-Series.
Cool.
Cool.
Oh.
You're looking for a T60, aren't you, Jay?
Yeah, I'm looking for a T60.
Might be able to help you out there.
Yeah,
Well, go ahead.
You'd find was a 1/135th, but it's pretty old on eBay. It's
Yeah.
It looks like it's been out of production a while, but I couldn't.
That particular one has been. I'm looking for. There's supposedly one that's really good quality that I'm looking for, but I've got a special project that I wanna build it for, and it has to be a T60. It can't be something similar.
Yeah, but just the scale you wanted is pretty difficult too.
Well, it doesn't. The scale actually is not that important.
All right. Okay.
No. In fact, in some ways, the smaller the better. I mean, I'd want at least 1/72nd, but.
Okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a hunt. You might be looking for a little while, but I'm sure it'll turn up. Just about anything turns up if you look long enough, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
See if I can
Well,
find
okay. Let's talk about me for a change.
it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I had gotten something done too, and I'm still working on trying to get it up here on the screen. And right now I'm working on the Cobra 427, the Shelby Cobra. I didn't think I was going to start it today, but I did start the engine. And this is a 16th scale. So it's a pretty big model to work with. It's a pretty big model to work with. I'm really happy that I got it. And I also got my Halloween build done too. Let's see, let's go to here. All right, there we go. I just might have to pop back again, but here's my Monster Coach. And what I liked about this particular kit is not the model itself, but the fact that it came with 2 pieces of cardboard to make it a diorama. It made it. Oh, there was some interesting detail to it. I thought for such a cheap kit, it had a pretty decent amount of detail. Didn't have the little fringes on the curtain even.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Much flash on it.
And I painted it. I painted the windshield gold. It should have been silver, but no worries, because I painted this back door gold too, and it came with decals that would have made it gold. So I decided, you know what? Since I did all the work, I'm not putting the decals on at all. So that's what I have been doing.
Cool. So that's 2 Halloween builds in the back.
Yeah, 2 Halloween builds down, and I don't know how many more we got. We got probably a half a dozen more to go.
Yeah.
Yep, I didn't check my pinned post, but I think there was about 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Well, you know, I'm thinking of, are you going to screen share something?
Yeah. I can show you what I've been thinking about doing. Hold on here. I gotta find it here. The reason I want the T60, but I gotta find it. Where are you, you little bugger? Damn Russian tanks.
I've gone completely mad.
Okay, here we go. Believe it or not, this was actually built and tested, and they discovered that it worked, but they didn't really have a way to get it going as easily as they were hoping, and so it was the idea was scrapped. But the project actually was built, was tested, and it did work using a T60. This is an Anatov A40. This is a blueprint like shot of it.
Oh.
And
Oh, wow.
Like I say, it was actually done, and they did build it, and they did try it, and the trouble is that they didn't really have a plane that could tow it and get it in the air easily enough at that time. So, you know, it kind of ended up being a case of a little too much too soon. It was a way to get a medium tank into battle easily, and they discovered that they had other gliders that were better at it, and then helicopters that were better at it. But it was I don't know why, I find it kind of fascinating, and I was just thinking it would be kind of fun to scratch build some wings and make one. So.
Cool. Interesting.
Well, I thought my hair is long and I need to wear a cap because it gets into my eyes. But we're also going to be talking about this stuff right here. You know what this stuff is?
Right.
No, worms! No, they're peanuts. and it's about packing stuff. And I want to ask you guys, do you do anything special to pack your things? And I mean, we've had experience of getting things shipped to us, but have you had any experience of getting anything shipped to you? And what do you think of the packing of stuff? Have they gotten to your address in one piece?
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes.
For the most part, yes.
Sometimes I've obviously it depends on what it is, but it also depends on who's packing it. There's a world of difference between packing up a boxed model kit and packing up a built model kit to send to somebody.
Yes.
Just recently, I got a whole box of 3 kits in it, and it was full of peanuts. So there's another bag around here somewhere with more peanuts in it, because I do ship a lot of things, and I do use a lot of the peanuts. But a lot of the times, well, for you, I sent you 2 pieces of model parts, Jay, and I just put it into a bubble envelope.
Yeah, that was fine. That's this right here, and it was 2. And it was 2 of these. You know, so that's fine. I mean, that's not going to get hurt in the mail unless somebody drops a rock on it or something, maybe.
Well, my concern was a little light. They'll get lost in the wind or be packing the bags, and there comes a big gust of wind, and it goes flying off. But anyway, boy, this is such a dumb subject.
Well, not really.
I get mine.
When you're packing something, you've just got to pay attention to what it is that you're packing. Now, if you're packing a model kit that's already in a box, then all you've got to do is put some space around it and a bit of protection to stop it being crushed, because it's already in the box. But if you're packing a built model, then you've got to be far more cognizant of what it is and how you're protecting it, because just throwing peanuts in the box is not going to cut it.
No.
There's a lot of airspace in there, and it's going to rattle around. So you've got to stabilize the piece. Then, once you've stabilized it and protected it, then you've got to protect it from crushing. So, you know, it really does depend. Now, a lot of you know I've shipped some very high-value items around this country and overseas, and everything has arrived. It's not. They weren't plastic models, but they were just appropriately packed for what they were.
Yes.
Well, how about like a box within a box? Like you put your item in peanuts in a box, and then into a larger box with more peanuts.
Yeah, whatever works.
That might work.
Whatever works, because it's you're protecting it from just general shock, picking it up, dropping it, and whatever. But you're also needing to protect it from crushing as best you can. I mean, you can't pack everything in an iron tank. But it's and also it's particularly a built model is damn fragile. You can't be putting shear stresses on it at all. It's got to be somehow held in that bubble as it would if it was just sitting on the shelf, but survive the shock of the transit. So and that might mean packing some solid foam under wings, or pieces that normally would sit balanced, where you would protect those from downward forces if it was dropped. So
like I want to send you a laptop. What would I need to do?
Well, a laptop is very easy because it's internally it's quite rigid. So I would say 2 or 3 layers of bubble wrap, and then 2 or 3 inches of peanuts all around it in a box is more than enough for a laptop.
Oh wow! So you wouldn't necessarily. Okay, that's right.
Yep, it's absolutely simple because the laptop itself structurally is very sound and very solid. So you just need to protect it from shock and to some degree from crush. And that's all.
That's it.
When I sent Jack the F1 car, I made sure there was bubble wrap purely over every part of the box. And then we just put newspaper, and then my wife and I just put newspaper around it just to give it that little bit of extra buoyancy.
Yeah, you really packed that pretty good. I have to say that I don't. Some people even put the peanuts inside the kit just so that the parts don't move around.
Well, that's actually not a bad idea because all of us have received kits where parts are broken inside the kit. So yeah, if you care enough about the kit itself, something inside the box to stabilize those bits from jumping around is a great idea.
Well, yeah, because this Cobra that I got from eBay, the box was pretty, I won't say mutilated, but it was dented. It's an old box. You know how shrink wrap would continue shrinking onto the box and kind of make it warp a little bit. A lot of the larger parts got removed from the sprue.
Yeah.
It wasn't shrink wrap. I mean, one of the reasons why when I buy models on eBay, I try to make sure as best as I can to make sure they're in their original factory shrink wrap. But I do want to stress that whenever you're sending a box that's open, you can even put peanuts inside the kit too.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I got my Enterprise E. Like that. Just like that.
Dropped in a box? Yeah.
Just the box. And just the model inside. No wrapping, no nothing. Just the box.
It's a nice box.
Sometimes they do that.
A very nice box, isn't it? Fold it up like this, fold it up like that.
All right, guys, how much bubble wrap do we need to put around his head?
2 or 3 yards.
Oh, that's a lot.
Now, here's an example. I mean, I got this Hasegawa kit. Now, Hasegawa is a good, that's a quality brand. Everything is packed in one plastic bag. Okay, it was only a $30 kit. I'm not complaining. But the way it's very difficult to see this, but there's a white sprue with the legs that hold up the center of the antenna. And they're only about maybe 1.25 mils in diameter. They're very fine, these legs. They packed it in such a way that the sprue behind it has these big parts on it, and the big part was leaning against, and you just can't see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can see it's
exactly snapped. Now it's not a big deal, and that's the only damage, and that's easily repaired. But see, if that had just been packed the other way around, turn that sprue around when they put it in the bag, but I wouldn't expect a human being to even think of that. But again, if you've got the kit and you're shipping it to somebody and somebody's paying you, then yeah, it's a good idea to put something in the box if you've opened it and just stabilize stuff.
Who packs their kits incredibly well is Mobius.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you get a Mobius kit, it is filled to the brim. Every square inch of that inside is packed, and it is well packed. And I guarantee you, if you don't videotape yourself taking everything out of the box to check it, you will never get it all back in the box and make it fit. Because there's just like some very specialized way of setting everything in there that is perfect.
Well, it's funny you say that because the fine molds Millennium Falcon I got, I just opened it, took aside the color paint graph picture, very nice, glossy and everything, and then I saw. Well, why don't I show you?
You're right, Jay. When I unpacked the Battlestar Galactica, I could not get it back in the box.
Yeah.
And what could not do it.
It's crazy. I don't know. I think there's something about the cardboard. It actually shrinks a little bit once you take it apart. You know.
Yeah.
This is actually a very large box. This is a great poster here.
That's a nice painting.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Here's the instruction book. It's all in Japanese except from the front. And the poster that I'm talking about.
Oh, the
And
pink poster,
see,
yeah.
then I get to this part, and I'm like, okay. These are individual boxes inside the larger box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these right here.
Yep.
And see, I'm actually afraid to pull it apart because I'll never get it back together again.
You won't. You won't. But that's a very similar way to Trumpeter pack their larger quality kits. You know, everything's packed in. You got a series of parts all in individual boxes. It's very well done, and it's appreciated too.
Well, it's certainly I appreciate it because, good golly, this thing has come from Japan, and I bought it. I can't remember where. I think it was New York City that they had shipped it to me when I bought it. And this person that packed it put it in a larger box, obviously, and they probably had about 6 dozen. You know those plastic bags you go get at the grocery store?
Yeah.
I have probably about 6 dozen of those bags around it.
Oh, that's because they're too lazy to recycle them, Jack.
Well, that was recycled, and I did take them to, the grocery store. They do have a bin. Oh, look what I left. The instruction book.
Uh-huh.
Now you're in trouble.
Well, see, this is the thing I have a problem with when it comes to fine molds, is this.
Why? What's wrong with that?
I can't read that.
Oh, but you got pictures,
Pictures are in English.
and the numbers will be in Latin numerics. And will be Japanese. See, look, 1, 2, 3. Jack, what more do you need?
What more do you need? Yeah, exactly.
I'm an English major. I read things. I read instructions.
Oh, we don't build a trumpeter because you got to go the same route, buddy. It's just numbers and pictures.
It's like, let me give you an example.
But Jack, you're going to light it, so you don't need the destruction sheet anyway.
But this is the 144 scale, significantly smaller.
Yeah, very small.
This is just how it's packed. There's nothing special of how it's being packed right here.
Mm-hmm.
Each individual piece is in its plastic bag. And still, this is what I like. I do like this about fine molds, that they do give you something very pretty to look at when it comes to color guide.
Yep.
This is glossy. It's actually quite nice, and then, of course, the instruction book. But you're right. They got all these parts in this one bag, and there's the curved part where the engine is. You see the curved part there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd hate to see this being crushed, but this is not a very sturdy box. It definitely would have to be, maybe not too many peanuts in here anyway. Maybe a sheet of bubble wrap across the face of it. But this box is very thin and it's very flimsy.
Now that's not a bad size model for the Falcon.
Yeah, kind of nice.
Yeah.
Here's the instruction sheet for the Enterprise.
Well, the thing about fine molds is all of their model kits for Star Wars are apparently in scale. So when you build them, everything, you should be able to line up the X-Wing, the B-Wing, the TIE Fighter, the Falcon, and they all are scaled correctly as per the movie, which is nice.
Well, that's the instruction sheet for the Enterprise.
Yeah.
It's just one large piece of paper. AMT.
One large piece of paper, one side.
Gotta love AMT.
Yeah.
Because I got the same thing for the Cobra. This is so inconvenient. It's like reading a map, and it's like even folding a map.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And
So, Wayne, how much would it cost me to ship something to you from the States?
About 15, 20 pounds, depending on the size and weight.
That would be anywhere between $25 to $35 U.S.?
Yeah, I think so. Depending on what Royal Mail charge.
Where in the UK are you?
Pardon?
Where in the UK are you? Because I've seen differences in Ireland and like England.
Just on the east coast of England, just above Norfolk.
Oh, okay. All right. But I just found it a little more to go to Ireland.
Yeah, it's depending on the weights and the size of the package. If it goes above a certain weight or size, you'll get you have to do a private delivery service.
Mm-hmm.
Jack, I shipped £20, I think, to Liverpool, and it ran about 150.
Holy crap!
£20, $150. How big was the box?
Oh,
Jesus.
yay big.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can fit in a screen or step back to,
The box would have been 24 by 18 by 6, maybe a little bit more, because it was double boxed.
I had ordered 3 JJ prizes from the UK back last summer, and I had them all sent. And from my understanding, if I remember right, the kits the kits cost less than the shipping. The shipping was something like $170.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got it, I understood why it was $170. And the 3 kits together is probably weighs 8, 10 pounds at best.
Yeah, it's the weight that kills you. It goes up.
About 3 or 4 kilos. I don't know. It wasn't very heavy at all. And I just thought $170 was a lot. But when I got it, when the Royal Mail had sent it to the States, they hired FedEx to deliver it. And it was FedEx Ground. It was FedEx Ground. And that's why it was more, because they used a commercial as opposed to using the post office.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, mine went FedEx too. I sent it through the...
But what impressed me about that was that the people there probably strapped them together, all 3 kits, and brown paper wrapped them. They didn't, and they put a cardboard hard top and a bottom, and they did a strap 4 ways. But otherwise, it was paper wrapped. So it wasn't even in a box at all. It came in very, very good condition, I have to say. When I ordered 2 more from the UK, they didn't come as nicely. So the first time, I'd say it's very important for who your carrier is too, I would think.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, the JJ prize is a big box. I mean, a really big box.
No, it isn't. Not really big.
Oh,
Not
JJ
as big as the
JJ is half the size of the refit, I guess.
I'd say about half.
Yeah, it's about the same depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, you want to pull my models apart and show you? No, I'm not going to do that.
No.
There's a toothpick on the bottom, you see. If I move something, the toothpick will wobble and break, and then the whole thing comes crashing down.
That wouldn't do. Then you would have to have a fire sale.
Yeah, but it's about half the size of the 350 TOS or the refit. Yeah, you're right. But it doesn't weigh nearly as much as the refit or the, refit weighs pretty good.
Yeah, the refit's in a good solid box. You could just about wrap that in brown paper and ship it in its own right.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty well tightly packed, so you don't get much movement in there. It's pretty tightly packed.
And it's pretty thick plastic too.
Thick plastic, thick cardboard box, yeah. Very much so. But you guys in the UK get taxed for something that we send from here. We need to, of course, when we send internationally, we have to claim a value. How does it work there in the UK?
Same way.
Depends if it gets custom exercise charge you when importing that. I can't remember. I don't know how it actually works. I just order stuff and that's how and it comes from the post. That's it. It does say sometimes if the seller from international, I think they say may add tax and import licenses stuff on your bill. I don't know how it works. I just click on buy and that's it. And they charge me credit card and all that. It does vary. It varies in size.
If you send something privately, your declared value, if it's under, I think, and I'll stand corrected, if it's under £15 and it's a gift, then it will go through without any customs or excise. Otherwise, they will charge the receiver. The receiver can't pick it up until they actually pay the duty on it. And it all depends on the declared value at this end on your customs declaration.
How about an OS? Any taxes to pay?
The only thing we really have to worry about is how much it's going to cost to send. So basically, that model, I've seen a couple of models overseas, like your Ferrari and Otto's Batmobile. Those two models there, that just cost me about $30 P&H.
Right. It wasn't that much, but the Formula One car was pretty small. But what I'm asking you, because I got those 3 kits from the UK and I got the kit from you from Australia, and neither time did I get any kind of excise tax charged. On getting
I don't have to pay anything. If I like with my Voyager.
Like when I sent you the Enterprises, you don't have to pay for anything other than that.
Nope, not a thing.
Not a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It seems that England or the United Kingdom is pretty well the only place that we deal with where the recipient can get hit pretty heavily with import duties. But it seems that we here in the States don't get it. Obviously, Oz don't get it. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, not good for the UK.
Well, it sucks to be the UK then, doesn't it?
Well, and what surprises me is that it takes longer to ship something to Canada than it does to get something to the UK. Australia is about, I'd say, 12 days, from my experience.
If I sent something to you today, it'd probably get it there to you in probably about 10 to 12 days.
12 days, yeah. 12 days. To what I found interesting was getting something from like Richard in Calgary took like as much as 2 weeks, possibly 2.5. But he says it took probably a week for me to send him something. And it takes about the same amount of time to get it to the UK. So it takes
the 10 to 12 days from Australia is 2 days to get it to LA.
Yeah, right.
10 days to drive it across our country.
Oh, they do it by airplane. I mean, they do it by airplane. The airplanes have to be packed gill to gill with whatever cargo they're going to. We're talking about passenger airplanes, especially when it comes to the mail, like the U.S. postal mail or the Australian mail. They have to kind of like a jigsaw puzzle put together these crates and fill the airplane belly up. So this is why it takes a longer time to get to Australia, because they've really got to pack them tight and not waste any space. Because going from LA or from even Phoenix to, well, it's going to stop. I don't know. Can you get a direct flight from LA to like Sydney?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sure. You can fly LA to Sydney, LA to Auckland, and I think Qantas have started flights directly from LA to Melbourne. But it's all out of LA. It's the only way into Oz is you've got to
I
go
was
through
thinking
LA.
Phoenix, because Phoenix goes to Hawaii, and that's usually, if you're going to make a one-stop flight, it would be in Hawaii. You would land in probably Honolulu, and then continue on to Australia. There is straight flights then, huh?
Well, Qantas there is, yeah, and I think United. But some of the other airlines, well, everyone's, they have their alliances. So, like, American is allied with Qantas. So, if you're flying American, you'll fly Qantas out of LA into Australia. I don't think United's associated with any Australian airline, so you probably could go, Hawaii and then down. But by far, when you got a 10,000-mile flight, 12 hours, the quickest way is straight out of LA and into Sydney.
Yeah, but it was bad enough enjoying a 6-hour flight to Hawaii. I'd probably spend a few days in Hawaii, then off to Australia. I don't know. I would love to go to Australia. My brother and sister-in-law are probably going to go New Year's Eve 2016. They're going to Sydney and celebrate New Year's Eve there.
Oh, great.
In 2016 to 17.
Excellent. Yeah, Sydney's the place to go for Australian New Year's. There's no doubt about that.
Well, it's probably the most spectacular in the world.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, the Harbour Bridge just lends itself to that display. It really is a perfect spot for it.
My sister-in-law said that people in Sydney get into the New Year first. I said, the Kiwis do. The New Zealanders do.
That's correct.
It's Marshall Islands.
Marshall, well, I don't think that's a vacation spot.
No.
Depends on what you do.
Yeah.
Yes, I got something to mail to Marshall Islands.
Yeah.
But, out
Hello?
2 weeks because
Okay.
it's got to go over the ocean. But that's
right.
if I knew anybody in New Zealand.
Right. I'm just saying there's probably nothing going really on in the Marshall Islands.
No.
No.
Not a lot.
So I think their New Year celebration isn't that spectacular. Okay.
So yeah, your first statement's quite correct. It all starts in Sydney.
Well, don't New Zealanders celebrate New Year's, or do they go on some other calendar?
No, they do, but no one knows and no one cares.
The only time I knew New Zealand saw something first was they saw the millennium first.
Well, I did see Lord of the Rings. From what I can see in New Zealand, there's nobody that lives there.
Not a lot. No. It's because a lot of them migrated to Australia. They're all in Sydney.
Hey, you send them over here! Get away, you bastards!
They probably packed themselves in a box and mailed themselves.
Yep.
No, they probably don't.
With lots of bubble wrap.
I wonder what the custom tax on that is.
Oh, it's steep. It's steep.
It's very steep. Very steep. They probably put themselves in their sheep. How are you,
Wow, this conversation really went downhill fast, didn't it?
As it normally does. Look, guaranteed, whenever we're talking about something else, and we're not even talking about modelling, guaranteed it's going to go downhill. And then I'll be like,
Something about the Southern Hemisphere, I think.
yeah, so we are a bit light-headed over here. Only because we kicked the kangaroos out. Maybe that's an idea. Maybe we should send some of the kangaroos over to America. Over to America. They'd love them. Nothing wrong with a bit of...
nothing could be any worse than deer. Deer are very destructive.
Well, that's the American kangaroo.
Yeah.
Oh, kangaroos are destructive?
Oh, absolutely.
No, they're not really. They just kick a lot.
Well, same problem with what they
Same
do
problem.
when you hit them. So they're about the same size and build as a deer. So you hit them hard enough.
Let me put it this way. If you hit a kangaroo, guaranteed you're in for a new car.
Yeah.
Well, that would be the deer.
The car will be ruined.
That will be deer. It depends on how fast you're going when you meet with the deer. And sometimes the deer just live on. Sometimes they're totally indestructible, but there are other times that you see them laying on the side of the road.
Freeze, deer!
Or laying in the middle of the road.
It's really funny because we went somewhere today, and all the cars in front of us slowed down. There's two of them. It was early in the morning. The sun was up. And a little deer was crossing the road, and my partner said, "Oh, dear."
Oh.
And then I looked at him and I said, "Yes, that's a deer." I said, "I didn't mean it that way. I was saying, oh, dear, somebody could have gotten a wreck." You know, years ago, they found a guy here in town who was taking deer home for one-night stands.
Oh.
Imagine him coming home from work.
Oh.
Dear, I'm home. Oh, dear, I'm home. Okay.
I think James right. This conversation's gone down, way down.
Heath has
Nobody
gone by.
remembers that story. Nobody remembers that story. This guy, he had a lot of deer. He was really into his hunting, very much into his hunting.
Mm-hmm.
This has really just gone down. You do realize this has just gone...
I know, I'm being lazy. No, the thing is, I'm being lazy. I'm tired. It's Sunday, and I have tomorrow off, which means I get to model some more.
Oh, no.
You do? You got
Oh.
a little bit more.
Let's talk about shipping a built model.
Yeah.
Ah!
I've never shipped one.
I have.
Neither have I.
Okay, talk.
Okay. When shipping a built model, if at all possible, have your client come and pick it up. Because then the responsibility is on them. If you can't do that, your next best choice is to drive it to them yourself. If you can't do that and you absolutely have to ship it, that's when things get dicey. But
you know, you got a point there. Say somebody buys something and say, pick a place.
California.
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying
Okay. You know, they get to pay all my gas, all my food, all my motel stops. To and from.
Yeah, so there's something to be said about that. But if you absolutely have to ship it, the first thing you need to do is, you need to figure out, okay, what kind of model is it? Is it a lot of little tiny parts? Is it, more solid? I mean, like for example, shipping the Dark Star like thing here that I'm building. Shipping this wouldn't be difficult. It's made of fiberglass, and there's not a lot in the way of small parts that are going to come off of it.
Right.
So this could actually be put into a box, wrap it with bubble wrap, stick it in a box, and fill it with, peanuts on the bottom, peanuts on the top, and on the sides, and this would be safe. Now,
Is it just me, or does that Dark Star look like the top saucer section of the Voyager?
yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
I thought it was.
Now, if I were to be shipping, let's say, a built Voyager or the 350 refit Enterprise or something like that, then you got a whole other can of worms, because you've got all these areas that have got to be supported. And what I find is a combination of both cardboard and styrofoam, supports. Like if I were shipping the Enterprise, I would first off make sure that the secondary hull was supported properly by cutting out and form-fitting some styrofoam to it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, from the bottom of the box going up to the nacelles, I would wrap the nacelles with bubble wrap, and then they would be supported on the top and the bottom. I would also try to support them so they couldn't go like this as well as up and down or sideways. You want to really just support the hell out of it, but you want to support it with something that's going to absorb impact, because if you were to support it all super solid, you could still lose pieces and stuff.
So you're saying it shouldn't be too rigid. It should have some give inside.
It should have a little bit of give, but not much. Like bubble wrap type give, styrofoam type give, that helps. But you want to support the hell out of it. What I would suggest, if at all possible, is large styrofoam pieces to support it.
Mm-hmm.
Want to attach the model to the styrofoam if you can. Just what's easily enough is like wrap parts of it in bubble wrap, and then put tape around that, holding it down onto the other parts, and then just basically encompass it. Like when you buy something, when you buy a VCR from the store, it's got foam around on the top and on the bottom, and when you open it up, it's very well held inside. You want to recreate that for your model. I would also recommend putting it in a cardboard box and then putting that cardboard box in a wooden crate if you can.
Oh, okay.
When you've got people paying thousands for a model that you built for them, they're going to want to get it, and they're going to want to get it in good condition. And you're not going to want to have to argue with whose fault it is that it broke. Is it the shipper's fault? Is it the model builder's fault who didn't pack it right?
Or how about this? There are like UPS stores, and they say they have professional packers. Would you suggest even asking them how to go about doing it?
No, I don't think I could trust them to something because they're not going to appreciate the dynamics of the model you've built. Only you will appreciate where its weak points are. Jay, coming on what you were thinking, using saran wrap as a barrier, what about expanding foam? Would you see a use for that?
I've done that before. I shipped a Ghostbusters Proton Pack once, and what I did was I took a plastic bag that was open on the bottom, but it was sealed on the top, and I sprayed expanding foam in that and put the Proton Pack on top of it, so it form-fit about halfway. Then I did the same thing on top, so that it was held in very well by the expanding foam. But I also, there are parts on there that are on a Proton Pack. There are parts that are coming out, and like there's a metal bar that hangs down and stuff. I supported those things individually as well.
Right. Okay.
Anything that ran the risk of being bumped around or bent or anything like that, I supported.
It's interesting because that technique you are talking about, there is a cellulose foam. It's not even like the foam that you would use to insulate your house or the cracks in your house or whatever. It's a cellulose foam that they do put in a thin. In fact, the plastic bag they put it in is almost like the dry cleaner bags.
Yeah.
That they put suits and stuff in when they finish dry cleaning them. Because you not only have to protect the model, but you're going to have to protect the paint job too.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you don't want. That's why any place where foam or cardboard is contacting the model, I would wrap with bubble wrap or something first, or even saran wrap. Something to protect that paint job. And if the model is on a stand, take it off the stand.
And ship the stand separate?
I'll ship the stand. You can ship the stand in the same box, but don't have it attached to the stand.
Right.
When you're shipping it, because you know, it's almost I don't care how well packaged it is, that won't survive.
Mm-hmm.
You know the group Quinex, they do those big light and sounds models. They actually do like a huge box. I mean, you have to get a drill to get this thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what's necessary, because you appreciate what you put into it, but you want to think that writing fragile, handle with care on the package helps. In reality, that is more of a challenge, you know, because
Yeah, it's like putting "Beware of Dog" on your front door. I mean, really, you got to have a dog to put that up.
exactly. And so, you know,
That's asking for trouble.
you want to be able to have your model survive falling off the back of a truck if it happens. You know, that's asking a lot, but believe me, you know, it's appreciated.
Are we talking about a certain model builder here?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about. I mean, because there are other situations where it doesn't matter how well you packaged it. Steve Neal packaged up a Enterprise D to ship to China that he worked his ass off on. It was a beautiful job, and he did it exactly that.
Yeah.
He had it all supported. He put it in a cardboard box, all supported, bubble wrapped, you know, and everything. Put that into a wooden box, shipped it, and it was stopped at customs, and they opened it up to see what it was, because, I mean, anything packaged like that obviously has drugs in it, and they actually broke the model open to check the inside of it.
Well, they should just X-ray it.
You know, yeah, but you X-ray a model like that, and you've got all these electronic boards and everything in it. It looks suspicious.
Oh, there you go.
wow.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah, but look at the amount of time it's into that.
yeah.
So
That
yeah,
really is the unexpected, isn't it? No matter
yeah,
what.
because you can't prepare for that. I mean, you can write on it, "Don't worry, there are no drugs in this box." Well, what's that going to do?
Yeah, that's
I
hard.
don't know. Drugs going to China makes no sense.
Well,
Think about
yeah, you know, and it ended up getting sent to his customer, and the customer sent it back, and
Yeah.
he managed to repair it. Now let's hope the customer gets it this time.
Yeah.
You know.
So they broke open the model.
Yeah, they broke open the model, and they asked a friend of Steve's asked him, "Is there anything on the model that looks like white paint?" And he said, "Yeah, there are a couple of smears of it. What that is a chemical they put on to test for explosives. It'll change color if there's explosives in it, you know."
Wow.
And you know, you don't have any protection against that. So
No. How about there are some carriers that are much more exclusive than perhaps the post office or the commercial shippers? Aren't there any exclusive shippers?
there probably are. I usually use either FedEx or UPS. I never ship a built model by U.S. Postal Service.
Well, I wouldn't think you would, but
Because,
I'm thinking perhaps there's something more exclusive than those even.
There may be.
They're horribly expensive, of course, if
Yeah.
they could handle it like put one box on one truck, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can. I mean, that for that matter, you could hire a truck to take it to where you want, you know, and if you wanted to, but
Can't drive to China, though.
yeah, then it's more fun to drive it yourself, you know. So
Right.
I've used DHL. I've used DHL before, and they haven't let me down.
Oh, DHL, yeah, they are pretty exclusive, I think.
they're pretty exclusive, and I've received things from them, so
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
and it's always
You-
in good
we
condition.
do have UPS over here. I've seen several trucks. We've got UPS. We've definitely got FedEx, because I've seen FedEx. DHL. We've actually got Deutsche Post
Hmm.
well over here, and they're very, like, you get stuff from Germany and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That's guaranteed. That's the guys that we get the stuff from Germany from. But I've seen a lot of UPS. I've seen a lot of DHL, and even some of our own brands like Toll and Star Trek and stuff like that. There's some of our exclusive. Carrier services.
I just pulled up a quick Google search for services in the USA, and you know there's obviously UPS, USPS, DHL, but then and FedEx, and then there's things like Freight Center, Shipping Services USA, Zim, Shipville, Greyhound, you know. So there's all kinds of more exclusive, shipping, global shipping services. I've seen stuff from them before, and you know, there's it looks like hundreds of them here. So there are a lot of choices. There are a lot of choices. You know, to make absolutely sure that you've got that thing packed to survive a nuclear explosion, because.
And his name's not Keith Richards or Lemmy.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. We talked about shipping, and that's something about a model building that we have to sometimes consider. Like, for an example, if you have a relative who had a favorite car back when they were a teenager and you want to build a model of it, you need to be able to ship it to them to surprise them, or even as a gift. Now that the season is coming up, yeah, we got to start thinking about shipping our stuff to other people, because quite frankly, we're going to run out of room, especially with all the dioramas that we're building.
You need to open a store, Jack.
What's that?
You need to open a store.
Yes, actually, there is going to be a store opening on Amazing Plastics. So I hope it to be an exclusive place for model builders. Not just like any hobby shop. It's something that hard to find, or it's just, you know, not the usual same old. That's what I'm going to be trying to do. Anyway, thank you all for joining us about Sunday Night Hangout, and it was my pleasure. Believe me, it was my pleasure. You know, hanging out with you guys. I learned something about shipping. Just use your best judgment. I guess what it comes down to. And also that there are other services besides the post office or even FedEx or UPS.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Heath, for stopping by and saying hello. How are you? And you have a good night. And what's the next time we're going to hear from you at the Isle of Misfit Model Builders?
Coming up this Saturday. Saturday night.
This coming Saturday.
It's coming Saturday at what time?
9:30 in the morning.
That's for you. For us, that works out to about...
9:30 morning for me. For you guys, it'll be like 7 or 8.
7 or 8 p.m.
8 o'clock in the morning? Or in the evening?
Evening. 2000.
Evening. Okay, very good. And Jay, thank you for stopping by and sharing what you know about shipping, because you've done a lot of it. As well as Phil, even for his business, he's done a lot of it too. Thank you for your thoughts on the subject as well. And Wayne, thank you for giving us an insight about what it's like to be shipping over to the UK. Make sure it's always 15 pounds and no more.
If it's over 40 pounds, you have to get insured.
Well, anyway, everyone, thank you for stopping by and watching Amazing Plastics Sunday Hangout. In 2 weeks, we'll have another one, and in 2 weeks on Saturday, we'll have Across the Pond too. Stay tuned, and we're going to be talking more models some other time. Happy modeling, everyone. Have a good night.
Good
night. See you guys.
All night.